You're listening to Messages from Moola, a space where we get to the roots and truth finds its way back home. So, I'm tapping into a collective that could be currently going through a major breakthrough or is about to move through a sudden breakthrough. What I am sensing is that this is not the first one for them. You've already gone through cycles of transformation pertaining to breakthroughs that happen through sudden breakthroughs. And what I'm getting through cards is that this will somehow peak during the full and new moon phases. So, this is like not your first rodeo, but something you have been moving through for 2 months now. And you're kind of getting used to it. I'm also getting that this can be for the collective who use fantasy as a way of coping mechanism whenever there is a conflict in their life. The universe is nudging you towards breakthroughs around uh, your coping mechanisms and all those defenses that you used to employ in your day to day conflict handling, whether it was relationships or your workplace, it is falling apart. You're also learning how to maximize the potential around these breakthroughs because when it used to happen before, it used to disrupt your whole life, your whole routine every time it used to happen. But since it has happened for quite some times now, you are turning into an alchemist, knowing how to actually transmute and knowing how to navigate these cycles. You could be someone who has a very sacred altar when it comes to making your manifestations work or making any wishes, or while you want to tap into the new moon cycles. I'm sensing the energetic signature that is present through your altar. It is directly somehow connected to the moon phases, and it peaks during the full moon or new moon. And upcoming cycles, the messages that are coming through are not in a very orderly manner. So it could mean that you find yourself most of the time surrounded by chaos. And it's not chaos coming through any external sources, but chaos that you can witness within you. And you very well understand this phenomenon as well, that the outside storm that you are seeing is very much reflecting your inner storms. And I'm also sensing that you somehow very well understand the mechanics of how you are creating your own reality every moment. This is followed by making a wish that you want to come true, that you are so desperately trying to reach. And every time you make that wish, you end up reaching a breakdown or maybe a crash down of your nervous system, or it's like the tower moment happens. Something in your reality is keeping that from happening. These constant cycles that you are navigating, it all has to do with that, the constant cycles of ups and downs. I mean, everybody goes through those ups and downs, everybody navigates those cycles, but what I'm getting for my collective is that for them, their normal is something that might look completely abnormal to the other human being, and the capacity that they have to move through these cycles is not something that everyone can have. So, this is like someone who has massive potential to navigate those storms, and as a result of that, you end up standing in more of that. But I'm sensing over the time, all this navigation, all this navigating the storms more than the others is going to help you master this very storm. And this is something, when you master navigating these storm moments, your very presence is going to disrupt the reality of others, which is not serving them well, and your very presence is therefore going to lead them towards their highest reality. This is going to be the power of your presence, because you become the anchor, but you don't become the anchor that is always suffering because of the storm moments that they face, but you're going to be the anchor that no one can uproot, during those storm moments. Nothing would be able to shake you, nothing would be able to phase you. So this is like a preparatory ground. This is like you being trained in the astral, or maybe for the spiritual currents that you undergo. You are being prepped as to how to stay rooted during those moments. So yes, you being drawn towards making the impossible wish, it just has a purpose of taking you where you can actually master these constant breaking down of cycle, because you have made an impossible wish here which is not able to reach, and for universe to deliver you that, it has to constantly strip you away from your false beliefs, from your false identity, and your limited perception that is actually stopping you from reaching that reality. So you have to move through these cycles more than the others, and this is how it's going to play out. You don't just get the desired reality, but you also get the strength, the power as byproduct of completing the process. And imagine the kind of power you get to have when you can also help others navigate through it. And I'm also getting that you're not someone who has to have an altar. What I'm getting is that you are the altar yourself. You are the anchor yourself. You don't need to have an altar. You don't need to be doing rituals in order to get things manifesting. You put your mind to it, and yes, you do draw certain tower moments, certain storm moments, but they're only going to shake you up, shake you awake, and lighten you up as a result, so that you can move where you want to move. Your power is immense, and it is your power itself that keeps you moving through those cycles. So you're being taught how to master these difficult scenarios that end up following straight after you have made a certain desire known to the universe, because you're always treading the unknown more than others, and sometimes you may not know what kind of steps to take. So this is where universe goes a bit hard on you, but this is how it's going to look like in the nearest future. Unlike others, you can get things done without any visible action, because you understand that mind is what moves the matter, not an action, not a visible action has to do that. It's the mind itself that can make anything move. Just like you see that scene in the Matrix where the kid is able to bend the spoon because there is no spoon. So that is the kind of understanding you are going to arrive at, other than the massive belief out there that you have to put the action. Without action, there is no reality coming true. You, however, you belong to a different category. I'm not saying one category is better than the other, but I'm just saying that you arrive at things a bit differently. You perceive things a bit differently. So, yes, you made a wish for something impossible, but that impossible is itself going to, the process around that impossible is actually going to be a manual around how you made that happen. You are understanding the interaction of mind with mind, mind with matter, and matter with matter here. You're not going around chasing the textbook scenarios, but yes, and you're not doing it for the others. What you're doing is basically for yourself, because you understand that the minute you start fulfilling yourself, you radiate a frequency that is going to lead that is going to inspire others also, that is going to automatically, that is going to make people look up to you as a byproduct. So yes, you just stand and you inspire. That is the kind of frequency that you would end up emitting as a result of making wish for the impossible and then navigating the entire process of breaking down and then rising back like a phoenix. You will be someone who would be able to stand directly at the center of the chaos and still remain unshakable, unmovable, because you would eventually come to learn how to navigate the unknown. That is going to be your biggest strength. If you made it till the end, share what part met you the most. It helps me tune in a little deeper to your energy. I'll meet you again when the roots whisper a new truth.